Okay, today is Tuesday, 3:48 a.m. It's April 29th. It's April 29th today. I was exchanging a text message with a trading buddy of mine. Uh, Now, he's using the 10% method, which essentially means that he's going to make 10% each day and then scale up once 10 days is achieved. Now, for me, uh, I'm in the process of attempting to make approximately something between a half a percent to a percent each day in my prop farm challenge. And so I figure if I make about 5%, okay, that means that the way that I'm trading small, that means that I should be able to achieve practically any amount. So that's the path that I'm taking. Then I realized, then I realized for the past many years, equivalent to about 4 to 5 years, I realized that I have burned through approximately about, uh, actually, every penny that I had, plus, and also approximately about a 350 prop firm challenges. Okay, and so now, people talk about, professionals talk about like consistency and setups and things like that. And what entered into my mind is what entered into my mind is that uh, when trading is done, okay, when trading is done, when trading is done, it means that I have to know where the beginning is. Okay, so the beginning of trading is essentially uh, where the tire meets the road is essentially is at a point where and it's essentially the beginning of this journey uh, into really making a living out of this day trading thing. So the beginning is essentially knowing something called a building something called building consistency. All right. Okay. It's all about building consistency. It's not about making money. It's about building consistency. And I realized that I was chasing money for the past 4 to 5 years as a day trader. Okay, I was chasing money, and when I chased money, uh, there is this internal core thing that causes me to essentially implode with emotions and all that stuff. All right. So what I've noticed is that so the so what needs to happen? What needs to happen is that I have to build consistency. Okay, so it's like now it took me all this time to really figure this out. Okay, whereas because of the allure and the need and the time uh, limitation of time, I was on. I had to make money. Okay, that was the first priority of what I was doing as a day trader. Um, so then I realized now, after nearly 5 years has passed, essentially 5 years has passed, and I realized the reason why that I was failing so much in my prop firm challenge is because I didn't know where the beginning is. Okay, so the beginning, when the start line occurs, there's this guy named there's a guy named there's like a there's in YouTube. There's a lot of people who eat a lot of food and they post it on YouTube. And there's this one particular guy named Randy Santel. Okay, and I tell this to the people that work in the fast food restaurant, that the same thing. And I tell them this. I tell them that uh, this guy has this shirt called "You win before you begin." Okay, that's what he says. And so the way that these eaters do is that before they start the challenge, they expand their stomach. Okay, so when they're eating, they don't want to expand the stomach. They want to expand it before so that they're prepared. Otherwise, you'll be sitting there with one burger and you're done because your stomach is not capable of containing large quantities of food. So I tell people who work in a restaurant, especially on the dinner side, I say, hey, you win before you begin, which means that you want to have everything all stocked up so that when customers order, then you can pick things up and then make it and then sell it instead of running things out and then you start and you figure out that something is missing. Then you gotta make it or do something. By that time, it's too late. So what finally dawned on me, uh, after spending all these years, which seemed to be like running in a treadmill, going no place, right? And so the beginning occurs. The beginning occurs when I have established a consistency. When I have when I have established consistency, then only then trading begins. That's when I just realized that, but it just never occurred to me. It's like people who like it's amazing to me because it's difficult. It was so difficult for me to come to that conclusion, even though it was so obvious. It was so obvious now that I look at it. It's something that I okay. So why do 95% of people lose? Because they haven't established a consistency. The reason why the 95% of the people, okay, the reason why the 95% of the people are failing is because they have not established a consistency to use it as a vehicle for me and them to make money from the market. So the first priority is to become consistent. The consist when I am when I have established a consistency, then I can use that vehicle to be profitable. Okay? Until I have established a consistency, then there's no way for me to make money from the market. And because the allure of the money in the market has this allure of the market, I'm the money, because all I have to do is I can see the numbers popping up and down. Tesla going up like 500, go up to like $500 a share, and all that stuff dropping and all that stuff, and you got uh, Bitcoin going up to like $100,000. So it's money just flashing before it. It's the upfront, the thing that just wham right in the face. I mean, it's money, and so uh, because it seems to be a human nature kind of thing, and I am especially prone to it because the lack of mental capacity. Okay, my lack of mental acuity, my lack of understanding what needs to happen, even though it seems so easy, right? Um, but it took me all this time to figure this out. That the beginning of the race starts. Okay, the beginning of the race starts. You win before you begin. Okay, that applies to practically everything in life, right? So what I've noticed is that what I've noticed is what I've noticed is that I have to establish a consistency before I start trading. Otherwise, I'll start losing money, right? So that's why the 95% of the people lose money. Okay? There are people who are the 5%ers who started out as that way, lost a lot of money because I heard a lot of people say that. There's a lot of people who spent a lot of money trading. And then it took them a long time to figure out how to trade. But before that occurs, people have to spend a lot of money learning about it, either out of pocket into the market, or using some sort of back testing mechanism to figure out how to be consistent. So in so that's something that I figured out recently. So that means professionals talk about, okay, so if you're trading for the money, it's going to be very difficult. But if you're trading to trade right, then things will start to fill in, because the emotional impact will be less, okay, and you'll be less addicted to what's happening, because I can detach myself to focus on what I need to do, which is essentially consistency. Once I establish consistency, I can take any amount of money, okay, practically any amount of money, and make money from that. So I can take $10,000, I can take $20,000, I can take $100,000, or even $1 million, and I can take that, okay, use it as a vehicle to make money off of that. But until that occurs, the only way for that to occur is to be consistent. I have to the starting point. You win before you begin. For day traders or swing traders, to be a trader is I have to. So what that means is that I have to be consistent. I have to. If I'm consistent, then I win. Okay, that's when the race starts. That's when the race starts. When I'm consistent, the race starts. But before then, the race does not start. I just keep cashing out, losing money, just like myself, because I don't know where the direction of where the it's like the starting line is at a certain location, but because I am not consistent in my trading, that I don't know where the beginning is, and so I go off, and then I had to come back, and it just turns out that I lost everything, and then now I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, over and over and over again, and then 4 to 5 years passed, and my kids are gone, and my ex-wife's gone, and I'm just left here all by myself, in this world, right? That's essentially what it is. So, so, so essentially, you win before you begin. Okay, you win before you begin. And for somebody like myself, then what I need to do is become consistent before I start putting money into the market. Okay, in order for me to start trading, I have to I have to prepare myself. Okay, just like those what those YouTube eaters do, is that I have to prepare myself. Okay, so you win before you begin means I have to be consistent before I put any money into the market. Essentially, that's what it means. That is specifically what it means. Uh, Essentially, that's what it means.